Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going? One more time here in NuCapital. My name is Christian. We have Gio here and our special guest.
Hi, I'm Ruth.
Perfect. Ruth, how's it going? How's it going today?
It's going good.
So enthusiastic.
This is awesome. Ruth, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do? What are your specialists as? What do you like doing?
Well, I guess you could call me an investor. I've been doing short-term rentals for years, corporate rentals. It was just a side hustle when I first started back in 2010.
Okay.
And it just ended up being a full-time thing after I got sick in 2018.
Okay.
So now this is all I do.
So in 2010, you started doing short-term rentals or
Airbnb
vacation, or what was it?
So I started off buying my first rental property in Puerto Penasco, Mexico.
Oh, no way.
Still have it?
No.
You started in Mexico.
Started in Mexico years ago. That's how
so
I was
cool.
how I was introduced to Airbnbs. But it wasn't Airbnb at the time.
Right.
You could just buy a property out there, and they had like condos, almost like condotels, like what they have on the Strip.
Yeah.
And they had a program where they would rent it out. You'd furnish the units, and they'd rent it out for you.
Okay.
So I started doing that with my my ex-husband. Kind of got into a partnership program with some friends of his, and then when I got divorced, then I kept going and doing that.
That's pretty cool.
It was Airbnb before it was cool.
It was before Airbnb.
You did everything before it was cool, right?
Yeah.
You did Pat Split before it was cool. You did Airbnb before it was cool.
Yeah, and I was
What
very
else?
hush about it. I didn't tell people at all what I used to do or what I did.
So greedy, Ruth.
So yeah,
It was good money, right?
yeah, I didn't want anyone to know because I had a partnership years ago. My best friend and I, we joke about it now. We had started a cleaning business back in the 90s, and she and I almost lost our friendship over it because it started off as a side thing.
Yeah.
And we didn't see eye to eye.
With your friend.
Mm-hmm.
That's difficult. I want to talk about that. Thank that you brought it up.
Yeah,
we just
partnerships
bring it
are
up.
hard. I'll tell you, you have to be on the same page
Yeah, on everything.
on everything. We didn't have a partnership agreement. It was just something that we were doing on the side with our cleaning business, and I ended up growing that thing. I had big dreams for my cleaning business. We started off with the vacuum cleaners and cleaning products out of our home, and started doing residential cleaning, and I wanted to go big. So I said, I want to get licensed, and I did it kind of under the table for a year.
Okay.
Just getting clients from different groups, people that I knew. We were doing, it was kind of a learning process in the beginning. So
Okay.
We started cleaning houses and learning and picking up larger clients, and then we started doing office buildings, and then I wanted to do construction cleaning. So I came out to Mesquite. My cousin had a cleaning business, and we learned how to do construction cleaning.
Nice.
So that's how I started my first real big business, because we grew it pretty large. Back in the 90s, it was to make $200,000 a year was pretty good.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So we had residential, commercial, and construction cleaning.
Wow.
And I was out there cleaning toilets, scraping floors, scraping windows. It was a dirty job, but it paid the bills.
Yeah.
So
So back to the juicy part.
okay.
What can you talk about what happened with the partnership? Like
Yeah,
the details
so-
about it.
So we had a couple of things that happened throughout the partnership. There were times where we needed supplies, and we had a situation one time with the vacuum cleaner that broke, and I had told my partner we need a new vacuum cleaner, and she didn't want to fork out money because we weren't doing it the right way. I always do things in thirds, even to this day. It's like our expenses should be a third of our income.
Right.
And we didn't see eye to eye on how to do it, and it kind of dissolved because
of vacuum cleaner.
because of the I needed a vacuum cleaner. She said let's just use the client's vacuum, so I didn't think that it was professional to do that.
Right.
So we kind of had little things back and forth. That
she was kind of not willing to go. I mean, to go all out into the business. That's what I.
Right. It was, we saw it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different perspectives. Like for example, the friend wanted to go cheap. Like, why spend vacuum if we can use the clients, and your perspective was like, no, let's just get our own.
It's not professional.
Yeah, it's not professional, and there were a few other things. She ended up going on her own, and I kept going. And
Okay.
So we stopped talking for a little while.
So what happened to that business? So how do you resolve that when a partnership is not working and you need to terminate it?
Well, she went on her own and started her own cleaning business. I don't think that she continued. I continued. I ended up selling my business along with all my clientele base.
Wow.
And all my equipment. We ended up moving into a large warehouse out in the valley.
Okay.
And by the time I sold my business, I think I had 9 employees.
Nice.
And we were working out of a warehouse, sharing it with a company that did street sweeping. So we had the office during the daytime, and they had the office at nighttime. So it worked great. So I did my first creative negotiations doing that, sharing, because I was being cheap.
So she did creative before it was cool as well. What else you do before it was cool?
Oh,
you told me you did sub 2 before it was cool as well, right?
yeah, I learned it from Carlton Sheets back in the day.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
That's so
I
cool.
paid my $300 for my fat packet.
your
Learned-
cassettes.
My
Was it
cassettes,
the
I still
cassette
have
players?
them. As a matter of fact, I think I posted it on my feed one time.
I saw it.
Yeah. So
Man, that's
where
pretty
I-
good. $300.
I think it was like $300.
That's a lot back then.
That was
It's
a
like,
lot,
It's like
yeah.
3,000 right now.
Oh, now there's freaking masterminds for like 30, 40, 50.
You just paid one
100.
for 45.
Yeah. Carlton
Yeah.
Sheets. I still have the cassettes. I just gotta find a tape recorder.
Push it in.
Yeah, I still have a VHS player and everything.
So back to that partnership. So because I'm very curious about this, like the clientele, the equipment, the things that you guys already had. How did that work to split it or
she
solve
ended
it?
up. She ended up
Change it?
deciding. I think she got her own stuff.
So you kept everything?
I think I kept everything.
Okay. With in exchange for something, or she
No.
just left?
She pretty much just left. She started building her own client base.
Okay.
Yeah, I had my clients that were telling me, "Hey, do you know that she's
Trying to get
trying
me.
to take us?" And it was a little sore subject. My bookkeeper came to me and said, "Hey, this is going on." So, but I wasn't really worried about it. I was more hurt than anything.
Yeah.
So,
Your trust, just like
yeah.
I trusted you.
Yeah.
And I mean, she continued going with the cleaning business. So it was not even like an issue about like her not wanting to do the business. It was more of a, like you said, it just like where you were going, she wasn't really sure about the she wanted to go there, right?
She couldn't do it legitimately. So we didn't have a strong operating agreement in the beginning.
Yeah.
And it was a new thing. We were both young, and it was just something that we thought we could make money as a side business. But we grew to one of the largest companies in Fairfield, California.
Wow.
Nice. So what'd you learn from that? Like, if you recommend us to do partnership, what based on your experience, like, hey guys, I need you to do this, and that. What would be the steps to protect ourselves, or somebody looking at us on YouTube, to protect themselves when they start a partnership?
I wish I could say that I've learned from my mistakes.
But no.
I've had. It seems like every circumstance, every situation is different.
Okay.
I tend to trust people a lot,
Yes.
but I have also learned that I also need to do my own due diligence and find out a little bit about people, who they are, what their character, what they believe in, and that's just for me because I trust. I open myself up to get myself in trouble, to get hurt and to not make wise decisions. But if you can build a baseline of a relationship would probably be the first thing.
Okay.
And then to talk about it, who's going to be doing what and your splits.
Okay.
So
Do you put it in writing or no?
I would recommend so. Probably with my new venture, I probably will be putting in writing. But I have had agreements with other people where we've gone we've
handshake agreements.
Yeah, for the most part, because we all know what we bring to the table.
Okay. So, curious about what's your process to get to know that person? If you have, it's a brand new person. I mean, you know they exist, but you haven't interacted with them.
Yes.
Is there a specific way you like to go about it to get to know them better?
Sushi dates.
Sushi dates. Okay.
Man, we never had a sushi date.
Yeah, we had a burger date.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sushi dates are always good.
you know what?
And what do you look for? Like, what are the red flags you look for?
I want to know about that person's character.
Okay.
I want to know what's important to them, what they do on their spare time, how they raise their children, what values they have. Do they have integrity? I want to know, if this person's going to scam me later on. So
Yeah.
that's probably one of the most important things.
I think we missed that.
I know. I mean,
We
I
should have
don't
had
think
this conversation.
me and you
before.
had a burger, and I think the gentleman had a salad. If I'm correct,
That's a red flag.
that's a red flag right there.
I would think too, you want to have some sort of commonality,
Yeah.
with common interest with the other person.
Yeah.
Culture. and all
Culture.
that stuff.
I want to say also, because when everything turns out right, everyone's good, good and dandy, right? But I want to say when I'm just gonna say when shit hits the fan, that's when you find out people's true colors, right? When there's when nothing's going well and everyone's trying to find someone to blame, that's when you truly find out who you're working with, right? And I think that is a hard, because you never know how that person's gonna react when things go bad.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, it comes out.
Yeah.
I've never really had partnerships before. I've always kind of done things on my own. Or if I have had partnerships, it's clearly known who's operating.
Okay. Here's what I read this before. I don't know who it was, but it was one of the big guys. I don't know if it's Warren Buffett, Elon Musk, or Bezos. I read or saw on a video that they'll take them to dinner,
Yeah.
and they see how they treat the server.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how they check their character and how they treat other people.
It's
So
interesting.
we should do that.
We should definitely do that.
You're always hungry, so it's a win.
I am.
I'll go with you.
Come on.
Sushi.
Sushi date for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. So we gotta implement that.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah.
The thing is, we've never had, you never know until you know, right? So for the most part, a lot of our deals come through JV. We have a common understanding of how everything is going to work out. We let them do their thing, they let us do our thing, and there's never been you said, I said type of thing. So right now we're facing a small issue with a deal, a partnership. So that's literally has taught us so much. At least, I'm pretty sure to you too, has taught me a lot. And it's having you have to have SOPs and systems, and like you said, even taking someone out to eat, and exactly, and it's crazy because Like right now, the decision is like, hey, like this is costing a headache for me and you for the operation. Do we want to deal with this, or is it better to just cut it, even though it's like
cut our losses?
Even though it's a good deal, do you fight it and let it bug you, or do you just cut the losses and just move on? You know,
I like to fight it because I hate bullies. I don't like people bullying other people. I just don't like it.
He's like that,
and I'm like, hey, you want to bully somebody? Bully me, and let's go. Let's go.
And it's game over.
Go toe and toe. Let's go.
I think it would depend on what would be the next step.
What if we don't have a next step?
Yeah, because what if you say, okay, we're going to take over altogether? What do you have a system in place that you can take over 100%? The way I look at partnerships is almost like a marriage when it comes to a long-term partnership.
Yeah.
If it's short term, if you're just doing some sort of private money deal or short term, few months you're done. But if it's a longer term, you gotta make sure that you like that person, and that you're understanding and comprehending their thinking process and what would they do in situations. With my first partnership and with my girlfriend, we had an understanding that I was going to do the operations, or I was doing all the bookkeeping, and I was handling all the client base, and she was just cleaning. And as time went by, I started thinking, why am I doing the same work that she's doing, and I'm not getting paid anymore because I'm doing the same work but more.
Oh, so you were cleaning.
So I was cleaning.
And the cleaning?
I was doing everything.
Okay.
I was doing everything. So I started getting a little resentful.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, why am I giving her half if we're doing everything together?
Right.
So it was a little different when it came.
And she never told you this. She never like communicated to you, or what?
It was. I guess it was kind of like the understanding that, hey, we're gonna do this together, but I'm kind of like, I'm the brains of everything. I'm the one who knows how to talk to the clients and how to get accounts. So the same thing with, I've had a partnership with my niece that was, and it was the same type of situation where I did everything, but it was under the understanding that I was going to handle everything.
And did you then talk about splits? Maybe you going like 70-30, 60-40?
What do you typically like to throw out there with partnerships?
I think it just depends on what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and depending on how many partners. So,
what's the maximum amount of partners you would take? Having one is enough.
One is enough.
I know.
Maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
It just depends on the type of property or the type of business it is, and I don't know everything, so I need to hire out. And whether they're going to be a partner or an employee, it depends on which business.
Okay.
So, because I can learn, and I can learn quickly, but I can't be in 10 different places at the same time.
Yeah.
So, and I've had stress in my life in the past, and I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
And that can be really stressful. So, especially depending on the type of business that you're operating.
What is your what's your least favorite type of business that you've had or you've been involved in?
Oh boy. Something that I've owned?
Yeah.
Just that you operated. Maybe.
Or like operated, or just where you were part of that you were like, oh my God, I would never do this again.
I don't think any of them.
Nothing? Okay.
No, because anytime I get into a business, I might pivot with some things, but I've always had fun.
Okay.
So I think it just depends on I'll start with the end and figure out what it is that I'm wanting to do.
Okay.
So if it's something that I think is going to be fun, it's going to be helpful to someone else, then usually I'm not really working.
Okay.
I strive to make it
I
better.
get you.
And then that's where I add stress to my life, is because I'm constantly thinking, how can I improve this? What can I do for these people? And there are things that I know in my businesses I've gone above and beyond. And it's not a monetary gain. It's mainly for my peace of mind, to make sure that they're okay.
Yeah.
So, if it's within my cleaning business, whether it was organizing under their cabinets just to make things easier, then I would do it.
Okay.
So, didn't charge anything else. So, a little easier.
Awesome.
I had another question and I just forgot. That was a good question too.
It was. You seem like a good partner.
I hope so.
I need to take you to dinner first.
I know. We
Sushi?
need to go to sushi first. We need to
what-
check out that sushi.
See what you order. If she orders like the sashimi, then she's good.
She's
You order
I
like
love
the
sashimi.
the California roll.
If
Like,
you, if you order albacore, you're
Okay.
mine team.
We'll order all of it as
All
long as
of
it's
it.
not spicy.
what's the fried California roll called?
I don't know.
You know what's it called?
I don't know. A
Fried
tempura.
I think it's tempura California roll. Like if you order that, then I'm out. Yeah. So what other business have you done? So you've done cleaning, you've done short term, you've done not midterm. You do midterm right now, right?
I did
Do
corporate
midterm.
rentals. So I started off with vacation rentals in Puerto Penasco.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I came to Vegas, when I decided to do it in Vegas, I basically started doing corporate rentals for the base.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I jumped into doing government deals,
How long ago was that?
probably 2011, I think.
Okay.
That doesn't work no more?
It does.
It does? I have a house around there.
Yeah, it does. So that's where I started off. It is a process when you're dealing with government contracts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I did everything I could do. I did nurses, I did the base, I did short-term rentals, I did whoever I could grab. And I was out there soliciting, going to the hospitals, going to the base, I had contacts. It was mainly relationship-based, how I built my business. I didn't really advertise too much.
Okay.
Honestly, for midterm rentals, I've noticed that is all about relationships mostly.
Yeah, I've had reps that I've dealt with for years.
Wow.
I had somebody a while ago, I think 13 years I've known, and he called me at 10:30 at night and sent me a text and said, "Hey, I have a house, or I need a house for a displaced family
Mm-hmm.
for 4 people," and he gave me the criteria that they needed. And unfortunately, I didn't have anything to put them in, but it was all relationship based.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
So, did you ever do short-term rentals yourself, or you have a partner with that one? When did you start doing short-term rentals?
I started in probably 2011, 2012.
No way.
Before Airbnb was a thing. So all my corporate housing
Okay.
and base military housing, that was all short term.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I was, people were coming in and out. If they came in for flight school, I
Okay.
would house them for 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
So whoever needed housing, I was putting them in. And then when Airbnb came around, it was easier. Just put 'em
Really?
on this app. So much easier. Okay,
I
check in,
know.
check out. Yeah, so much
Yeah.
easier. But then around 2016 is when everything started happening. I was, buying as much as I could to house for short term. So it was easier back then.
Oh, I know.
When did you start seeing a decline on Airbnb?
I think probably 2016.
16?
I think that's when all the challenges started coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and I would end up going to the city council, listen to all the meetings.
Oh, you were there
there too? We were
Oh,
there.
Yeah. Oh, way back then?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I went to every single one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it didn't really seem to.
Nah, nothing has happened.
No, but I
feel
learned.
Politics.
Yeah, and I learned not to have anything over in what's that area? Section 10.
Around Desert Inn, Buffalo, around there.
Yeah,
Why not?
Oh, they're really strict over there.
Really?
They don't, the really nice houses, they don't want any short terms at all.
That's where Break had the property.
Any party
Yeah.
houses,
Oh.
like they mentioned them, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't want no party houses.
Those are
Yeah.
nice houses too for
Oh, yeah.
Airbnb.
Really nice, but people,
Yeah.
those are all custom homes. They don't want that.
Yeah.
Understandable,
Yeah.
but I went through all the meetings, and some people's concept of Airbnb was just that they're party houses.
Yeah.
Not
It
quite
kind of is in Vegas because that's what people come here.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have Airbnb in a different city, like for example Anaheim, I've used Airbnbs in Anaheim.
Mm-hmm.
People go to Disney. That's it. They just go there, sleep,
Mm-hmm.
go to Disney the whole day, come back, sleep. That's it. Vegas is different. Vegas is you go pre-game in the house, make a little bit of noise, you go out, then they come back from the club, and they still want to keep partying, and that's when the problems start. They want to keep the music going, and especially if it's a large group, younger group. It has happened to us where like people will come back 2 a.m. They will still keep trying to party.
I've never had any problems
No?
with any of
Yeah.
mine.
We had
Only once.
only once, yeah. We had noise detectors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you're gonna be, if I was gonna say, if you want to be a good operator, there's always ways to go about it. Cameras, noise detectors, and everything. The issue is like where the people hire someone else, and that manager doesn't care, or you're like outside of the city or the state.
Yeah.
That's like not, if you're not managing well, like you're gonna suffer here in this
Yeah.
market.
Anytime I find someone that wants to rent, I'll look at the reviews.
Yeah.
Do you manage yourself, or you
Yeah.
have somebody
No, I do it all.
do it all?
Dang.
Yeah, I think
You want to be our operator?
How do you have time?
I actually have a lot of time,
Really?
which is surprising.
Nice.
But now we'll see with my new venture how much time I'm gonna have.
Living the dream, Ruth.
So yeah, I would stay home and swim with my fish.
Are you gonna hire an operator, or are you gonna do it yourself?
For the new venture?
Yeah.
I will probably start off doing it myself. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Actually, a
I
lot of fun. So,
You get a lot of Mexicans. They'll give
Oh,
you,
heck
they'll,
yeah.
they'll give you food.
oh yeah. Oh, that's the thing. Saturday nights, I've been eating cake.
Yeah. I'm just gonna show up. Just
Hey, Ruth, you need anything?
just to
Ruth?
hold the door. so
Oh
people can go in.
yeah.
Can we help you with anything? Ruth?
We're gonna
Yeah,
have
that's
a networking event on the 13th.
good. Okay.
Oh, really?
So.
What is it called? Oh, what is it about?
Apparently, it's Keegley and Sub 2 people, but it's a whole. Yeah, I don't know.
Just don't call it sub 2.
Well, maybe it is
shut
sub
it
2.
down.
Yeah.
It's not. I know what it is.
Oh.
Oh. All right. That's cool.
So it's gonna be a real estate meetup.
A real estate meetup.
We'll just say
That's not sub 2 or Keegley.
It's a real estate. You can't mention names.
it. Okay.
What pushed you to try out this new venture? Well, yeah.
So
Were you looking, or did you just
I was.
fall on your lap? Okay.
yeah, I was looking. I'm always looking for different ways to make money.
Okay. I mean, selling drugs is one of them. Was that on your job?
Yeah, no. I wouldn't be good at that. No.
So were you? So my question is, were you actively looking for that specific business, or
I've looked. Yeah, so I've always looked for things that come in multiples, even in
Okay.
my houses. So my rentals, where I can put multiple people in a house, where I can have multiple sources of income. So I was actively looking for things in multiples, like laundromats, storage units, something that I can make a lot of money.
Right. You were gonna say something. I interrupted. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know.
I think you were saying that something about when you were searching for it.
Oh, yeah. So I was looking, and I've always kind of looked at put the word out to people. Hey, if you ever run across this type of business, let me know.
Okay.
So with this new venture, I had found it initially. She had posted it. And it was also a recommendation through another broker.
Okay.
But she didn't want to deal with any brokers. So I ended up working a deal with her.
Directly. A creative deal.
Creative deal.
How'd you structure that? How'd you introduce that to her? Did she even know about creative?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
How'd you present that to her? Did you give her like, hey, I'll give you this cash, or I'll give you this? How was it?
Yeah, I asked her how much she needed. And I actually asked her what it was that she, why she was selling. So I think I based it on her wants and needs.
Okay.
So she wanted to retire. She was tired. She wanted to travel and she wanted to play golf.
Okay.
So I based everything on what she wanted.
Okay.
Built a relationship from there.
So what you offer, like a membership for Anthem Country Club or what?
Oh, no. I need a membership for over there. No, I basically asked her, I think it was more relationship based again.
Okay.
You know, how we view things, because she asked me, you know, what my family is like, you know, my nationality, you know, it was.
You mentioned that that she was looking for somebody specific, like really, really specific, to buy her business, right?
Yeah.
We're not gonna say what, but like really specific type of person.
Yeah.
That's good though.
I want to monetize on this video.
Yeah.
The first one, we're probably gonna be able to. Nah, not really.
So it was interesting. So, so we're still in escrow.
That's awesome.
So I was able to.
When does it close?
Hopefully in our escrow is up to 120 days.
Is it looking good so far? Or?
Yeah, it is. I've looked at. There has been a little bit of challenges. I started off with a partner.
Okay.
And things were a little weird just in the operating systems, and so my partner decided it was not going to work for her.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more of a risk taker.
Yeah.
Quitter. I'm just kidding.
So
I'm just kidding.
yeah. So I mean, everything's a risk. You know, I've made bad decisions before, and you know, had to pay for it.
I was actually gonna ask you that. So I mean, it's a brand new business. You've never done this before, right?
I have.
Oh, you have.
I have a little bit. Years ago when I got divorced back in 2010.
Okay.
I had to get a job. I was married half my life before, and my ex-husband had benefits, and so being that I got divorced, I needed benefits. So I ended up going to work in the casinos at the Excalibur. And when I first started at Excalibur, I was a floater.
Okay.
So,
I don't know what that is.
So I was in the food and beverage department, and when you first start, you don't have a shift. So they place you in different
whenever they need
different things,
positions.
Okay. So I was kind of like on call.
Okay.
So some days I would work in the showroom. Some days I would work in the lounge. Some days, you know, it's kind of back and forth. And I mean, I worked in the lounge for many years, and then I switched to the showroom working with the Thunder from Down Under guys. And
no way.
Oh yeah, so that was pretty wild. So
that's pretty wild.
it was pretty wild, and I had a lot of fun.
I bet.
In the lounge, it was like a nightclub, and so I was used to doing that kind of thing. We had systems and processes. In the hotel.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot on what was needed and how things were done, health codes, things along those lines.
Okay.
So you're pretty comfortable with like how much money events should bring, kind of like the profit of that business, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. Because I was gonna ask you that. I was like, because if I was to buy a business right now, and let's say it was I don't know, cleaning business,
Detailing business.
Even detailing business, I wouldn't touch it because I have no clue. I don't.
Yeah, you probably suck at it.
What I've done in any of my businesses is shop as the client. shop your competition. So I act like I'm a client, and I run around and I ask questions.
Yeah, I've done that before. I did that with the detailing business. Hey,
Yeah.
how much you charge? But when I started, they were charging like 20, 25. Some were charging $15 a car. Like, oh man, like I need to do something about it.
Yeah.
And then, but we did start like really cheap when I started my detailing business. They were like 20, 25.
Those are good old days.
That was 3 of us. 3 of us taking 2 hours to detail one car for $25.
And a $5 tip.
Our take home, $5 tip. That's typically what it was. Our take home was like $6 a week.
Oh my gosh, I've done that where I've made mistakes and have not made money. But for me, I always try to add value.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's instead of negotiating price, so I'll make it seem, or not make it seem, but I'll add value somewhere, or whether it's in the hospitality, industry of Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Upgrade them, give them an extra. I don't know, throw some waters in the refrigerator, things
Anything.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything to make them feel special.
I like to do ice cream.
Yeah?
I used to do like ice cream pops.
I used to like candy, like like chocolates.
Oh, I should have. But like
Yeah.
I did ice cream because I love ice cream. I
Yeah.
put like ice cream in the freezer.
Okay.
And waters obviously too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And batter. No, so I stopped doing Airbnb because it was like little complaint like the remotes don't have batteries. Like, what do you mean? People will take them. They'll
Yeah.
take their batteries and then I had to go and put some new batteries in.
Mm.
So that's what I hated
Yeah.
about it.
I want to say too, like, so I mean, Airbnb here got super regulated. We had 6 or 7,
Like
2020.
Six.
So yeah, 2020 had 6. A few of them we owned. A few of them we did arbitrage. So I remember clearly. I was telling him like, hey, like we're gonna get shut down, and he was like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, bro, COVID's shutting down everything. China's shutting down. We're gonna shut down. And I remember March clearly. Like I saw the account, I was like, oh my, and I told him this is gonna be our year, and I saw like it was our best month. It was like I think we're like
March.
close to 30K or something for that month, and it
Revenue.
went from 30K to 0.
Like a week.
I got really lucky
You did.
during COVID because I had a couple that was living in or renting my smaller unit, and I didn't realize that they had so many children. They never told me, and I think there was like 7 or 8 of them. It was a parent.
Children or total?
Yeah, children.
Oh.
Yeah. So they were in my 2-bedroom condo, and then they ended up asking if I had a larger place, and I ended up putting them in my bigger house.
So you did get lucky.
Yeah.
Nice.
But they started acting like they were living there, and we had
Oh
to
jeez.
we had to go in there and tell them, hey, you realize this is a midterm rental,
Yeah.
because they were trying to move our furniture out into the garage. They had started painting. Yeah.
Like
they
a
were,
tenant?
yes. Yeah. And they said, well, we want to stay here long term. Okay, you can stay here long term, but
Don't move my stuff.
don't move my stuff. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but throughout COVID, the guy paid.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I was surprised. So
Nice.
kind of.
Yeah, I know. We had headaches about that.
We didn't have that luck, so
Yeah.
we sold everything.
I was gonna ask you too about this. So it's happening to us right now. It's funny. You were able to create different businesses, and now you're pretty much buying a business, right? So we've always approached real estate as in, this is a good investment, right? But now we're like zooming out. Is like, okay, this is a good investment, but is it beneficial to the business that we're running as a real estate operation? And sometimes the answer is no to us. So, but that's something we're learning right now.
After 3 years.
It's funny because it's crazy. So my question to you is, how do you pull out from being a technician, like an operator, and start doing business decisions, like as an entrepreneur? Because you did it naturally.
She's still an operator, right?
I
You
am
operate
still-
your stuff, right?
Well,
I
not
am
really,
still-
because
But she
the
loves it.
the
That's
business.
the
No,
difference.
the
We
cleaning
don't.
business. The cleaning business. She grew it up and she sold it.
Oh yeah.
That's. I mean, you automated a lot of it to be able to sell it and everything. And you had 8 people.
Yeah, I did, but I sold it because I was moving to Vegas.
Okay, you would
But
have kept
I probably still would have,
kept it.
kept.
But the point there is, you created systems and everything to have 8 employees, and for it to be successful, for someone to buy it from you, right?
Yeah, because my mom did my books.
The books is the hardest.
The books is the key to
hardest
everything.
part.
I hate doing books. So anytime if I'm looking for a partner, that's the first thing I ask is,
Do you know how to do books?
do you know how to do books? Do you know how to?
Such a
How are you?
visionary.
How's your admin work?
I
Because
should have asked you that.
I
before
don't like to do
partner
that.
you up.
yeah,
I should have asked him that.
I'll do,
you know how
all
to
the
do
books from every single. I hate doing them.
I hate doing them too. You should see my
We-
pile of mail.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
Oh yeah, no, that backpack is full of mail, like probably this bunch.
Yeah.
He's always like, "Hey, we need to know how much money we've done in this deal." I'm like, "Do we even have the numbers for it?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we have texts, so I have to go like through text, like the expenses and everything." I'm
Text
like,
messages.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm really bad. I'll admit it. I don't have a really good system. I like to have fun, so I'm really good at operating.
You just
and-
need an operator behind you.
yeah, I'm just
To collect the
operating
mess.
and I know my numbers. I'm really old school. I still use composition notebooks, so really I'm not really good at the computer thing. I'm
Yeah.
really bad even posting videos on Instagram.
We need to get you a VA, Ruth.
yeah. But even that.
What was I gonna ask you? I forgot again.
Partnership.
So Ruth, you were just a beast. Like you were just like the visionary. You're like, hey, like I want to grow this company, and we're gonna grow it however we can. And
Yes.
who was your operator for the cleaning business then? Was it your mom?
No, that would be me.
Oh, that was a question.
Who did the admin work? Who did your books?
Oh, my mom.
Okay.
My mom did. She did. She'd prepare it for my bookkeeper that did my taxes.
Okay.
So that was my question. I remember my question. So when you said like I do this for fun, you do the operating for fun. That's what you do for fun. Okay. Yeah. So do I. Not really. I like to watch movies.
Yeah. I mean, I go into my houses now and I talk to people, find out, what their life is about, what they're doing, and
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So I'll be there, and sometimes I'm there for hours just talking. So
Nice.
it's fun. I love getting to know the people that I'm helping.
You know what?
that I'm
And that's
housing.
one of the things too. Is like that I noticed. So like I mean, Ruth, you actually enjoy talking to people and like getting in there and like getting close and personal with them. One thing we didn't find, I didn't really like, it didn't click in my head with the operation we just got going on, the partnership, is the requirements that we had to do for them. So I was like, this is way above my head, like, because I cannot relate to them in a way. And yeah, that's what's make it like 10 times harder.
It's for sober
Sober
living that I was telling you. So I have not been exposed to like any kind of addicts. I have not.
Oh.
So I have no experience, right? Just workaholics, but that's it.
Mhm.
So apparently you need to know like what each type of user likes to do and not like to do, and how to enable them and not. I don't know any of that. I've never been exposed to them. So that's why we're not fit for the job.
Yeah, I think when any business that I've gotten into, I'll do months of research.
Months of research.
And I will find out what I can, and
Yeah.
experience whatever. Some of it is experiences.
Yeah. And
So-
one of the biggest mistakes we make too is like, I run pat splits. I talk to pat split people. Like, sometimes I hit them up, sometimes I don't. But my commitment to pat split is probably 1 hour per month, if that, right? So the commitment to sober living is a lot different. And I was not expecting that whatsoever.
Yeah.
But
It's not scalable either. Like if you have to spend hours and hours per week there, then there's no way you're gonna scale it to 5,
No, you
10
can't.
properties.
You can.
You have to spend hours and hours
No.
with the business, with the acquisition. So in our business model, it doesn't fit because we're focusing on acquisitions. Acquisitions takes 90% of our time. So now that extra 10% dedicating to going physically to the property, like to us, it's not doable.
But maybe
We probably do one. That's it.
sober living. Do you run it? Have you ever run one before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how did you run it to make it like smooth or
All of my properties, whether it's corporate rental or any kind of independent or any kind of group housing, it's all the same processes, all the same systems. I have an application process you have to go through. So whether it's a corporate house, whether it's a sober living house, independent, you have to go through a process, and I need to know who you are and what you do, why you're here.
Okay.
And then if it's something where it's health related, what type of home, because
Okay.
I'm not. For me as an operator, I'm not an RN. I don't. I can't administer. I'm not there. So you have to, you have to have an operator, depending on what level of home you're gonna run. If you're doing private care home.
this is a whole different.
Yeah. And if you're gonna be licensed, state licensed, things like that, there's a huge process that you have to go through.
Okay.
But more independent living or sober living, it's a little different.
Okay.
But you have to make the contacts. You have to have a system. So for a home like a sober living home or some sort of group home, you have to have something in place for them, because they cannot.
Can you be more specific? Something in place? What's that?
Some sort of program. So you would make contacts with an agency where they're helping with transition to real life.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can't do it. You're not licensed to do it. There are people that are going through mental challenges and things like that. You have to be really careful.
Okay.
Because you can get in trouble, and you just never know. It's a lot of violence. Things like that.
So
chemical imbalances. People could be seeing crazy.
are you able to talk about how do you operate your sober living?
I don't have any anymore.
You don't have any more?
No.
How would you use to operate your sober living?
Well, you'd need to do an application process and find out what they need.
Go back one step. How'd you find them?
You can go to a place that is helping sober people with issues.
Okay.
It's some sort of sober living program.
How do you find
Okay.
those?
So
Just Google.
yeah, you can Google them.
Okay.
Yeah, and tell them that you offer housing. Same thing with mental health. Any mental health issues, whether it's it's all the same. For the most part. Yeah, if it's alcohol or drug related.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they go through an application process that you've tailored to see like what their life is about, right?
Right. And there's different levels of care. I'm more on the independent.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be responsible for anyone's. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more independent, the better.
Yeah.
So and pad split is pretty much an independent living home.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's just things are named and renamed. It's all the same thing.
Co-living, independent
Co-living,
living.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why sober living doesn't fit our model because we're so busy. We could barely do our own acquisition business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, so.
I mean, you can put somebody in a house and put them in the programs that they need
Mhm.
and have an operator. When you have someone that's going through mental challenges or addictions, you have to make sure that you're steering them in the right direction.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part with everything that's going on right now. And that's one of the things I was like, the level of commitment that we will need to have for that. It's just like right now we don't have it.
I would just hire.
Yeah, you have to hire an operator. You have to have an
Yeah.
operator there because in any group situation, people, whether they're professional or not professional, they're going to have clashes.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be drama. So you have to be prepared for that, and you have to have someone on site for the most part.
100%. I agree with you.
Yeah, because you just never know, especially when it comes to chemical imbalances or addictions. People are going to fight. People are going to argue. That's why within the pad split model, there's no common area.
Yeah.
So,
And you know, and my bad. Go ahead.
Do you think that's better for sober living as well? Like no common area? Because it makes sense, right?
yeah, but you also have to have an operator that's going to push them. There have to be rules, and within sober living,
Mm-hmm.
you need to have some sort of contract with a facility for a program. So on a sober living home, you may want to tell them, hey, okay, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., you're in this program. You need to sign in and go to that place and be there for X amount of time, and then you can come back to the house. They're not hanging around the house. They're gone.
Okay.
They need to be in a program.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
And
To
then,
keep them distracted and
Mhm.
okay, away from temptation and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm,
So they
smart.
need to be in a program. They need to have somebody that will take responsibility for them. Some of them, depending on what level they're at, they can be more independent and have a job. So as long as you're tracking them and knowing where they are, and have clear
Pretty-
rules in place.
Yeah. Why did he stop doing sober living? Or
I'll still do it. I choose not to.
yeah.
Why?
It's a lot of work.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's
That's
a-
what we're saying.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. So, yeah, I mean, I have one person that I'll use as an example. I've had people that have had issues with drug addictions,
Yeah.
and you have to really carefully monitor, their times of taking in their medications. If they're more independent, they're
Exactly.
they're responsible for their
For
own
themselves,
medications.
yeah.
But then they might over medicate. They might not medicate at all, and then now you have issues. So I've had situations in the past where I've had to remove people from the house because they scared other people.
Big responsibility with that.
It is, and it's sad. It is sad.
Yeah, and like you said, it's tough because it's like one a side of me is like, hey, yes, I want to help, but the other side of me is like, I could barely handle what I have on my plate right now, and I cannot right now, the moment where I'm at with my life, with the stuff going at home, with the stuff going with our businesses, I'm like, I cannot do that right
Yeah,
now.
it can be a little stressful, even
Yeah.
with dealing with corporate rentals. Because I do group living, corporate rentals. So I've had drama.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, I've had drama with people not getting along, people leaving too much hair in the shower, people not cleaning, pubic hairs on the floor, and people not washing dishes, and
Yeah.
people sneaking people into the house. I've had all kinds of things.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite model right now? Since you have your experience with all of these, what's the best one you tried so far?
Oh, I don't know if I have a favorite.
No. what takes you the least amount of time, least stress, and pays you the most? Which model? You can include
Oh,
your.
I
new,
don't even know.
You can don't include your new acquisition because you haven't done it yet. But out of the real estate part, like which one?
If you said if I could include the new business, I would say probably that's
New business.
that's going to be the one that I have the most fun
Yeah.
and make the most money.
But
Because
exclude
it's
that one.
Okay.
That's not real. I mean, kind of real estate related, but not. It's more of a business.
Yeah, I would say probably the least amount of time. Maybe my corporate, just dealing with the corporate clients.
Okay.
Probably the least.
Is it
Okay.
the nurses one? Or
No.
Do you still
so
have that one?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, but nurses kind of come and go.
Okay.
Yeah, they're because they'll move around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are times where I have nobody in the house. So military is good. I've got people within the travel industry, but that can be challenging as well.
Yeah. Ruth, now I remember one thing, and I remember I don't know when we were hanging out. It was Gio, me, you, and other people. And I remember us saying like, "Oh, we're gonna do silver living," and you just had this look in your face like you don't know what's coming. And I was like, Ruth, and you were like, and I was like, yes, Ruth, and I was excited, and you're like just looking at me like, are you sure what you're getting into? But you were smiling, so you didn't want to be rude about it. I was like, oh my god. Now that we're into it, it's like, Ruth, should have told us. You're in for a good one.
It is a lot of work. I mean, you have to. If you have an operator, it's good because they are going to be dealing with people's day-to-day lives.
And I want to say, like, to silver living, especially, at least for me, because I mean, Pat Spit, yes, you're providing housing for people, and that's cool. It feels good. Airbnb is a little bit different. You make money, but for silver living, I feel like there's more. You can make money, and a lot of it, I'm pretty sure, but there's more of the human side of it, like actually helping someone out and seeing them progress and doing all that stuff. And that's the part where I'm just like, I want to help people out, but I just think I'm way like I cannot
spread too thin.
Not only that, but like I cannot what do you call it?
Empathize with people.
I could empathize with people, but I don't think I have much in common. And I cannot help someone that like I cannot guide them. Like I cannot tell them like, hey, like you should stop doing this because I don't know how that feels, you know.
Probably feels great.
Like the addiction and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like I don't really understand that side of it. So it's like it'll be like asking a person that washes cars like how do you do real estate? Mm-hmm. The guy would be like lost.
Hey, I can tell you that.
You're different though.
But I have had people that have said that.
How do you relate to it? Like, how can you help someone that you have not gone through that path, you know?
Usually when you are doing a house like that, a silver living house, you usually want to get an operator that has been through it.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually. For me, with dealing with people in general, I just try to put myself in their situation. Mm-hmm. But I have had people on the streets, you know, or they follow through with what they're supposed to do. You know, and I'll put them, you know, I'll tell them you need to go into this program, and we're gonna take you here, and they're gonna assess you, and then you go from there. They'll take it over, and you know, I've had people where I had to kind of turn away and say, okay, it's your turn now, because I can't do it for them.
I don't think I have the heart for it. I could barely fire people from my business.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me. It is hard for me.
Yeah, no, it's rough.
It is rough.
I just, yeah, not for me.
Yeah.
Definitely not for me.
Yeah, it's a rough decision. I mean, you know, this person has asked me, you know, can I sign off, and for her to go into a mental hospital, which is fine. You know, you can go over there and see if you can stay, but you know, if it's not a permanent residence, you know, she's wanting to go into a state hospital. Well, that's not my decision. That's, you know, up to the, you know,
hospital.
It's up to the hospital because they have doctors that will evaluate.
Yeah.
Here's a question I want to know from you. Why are you doing this? Why are you buying houses, helping people, buying businesses? What's your why?
I want to do something for people. I not necessarily for myself, but say for example with this acquisition, I want to be a part of something memorable for them. So that's for me to get involved. People have milestones in their lives that are really important, and I want to be a part of that.
Okay.
So I want to be a part of, you know, making good memories and making sure that it's not stressful for them. So might be stressful for me, but I think the outcome outweighs the stress, because I know that, hey, this person had a good time. So I think that's
really cool.
Yeah.
Because you get to be part of the person's happy moments, right?
Mm-hmm. Even the culture in my homes, when it comes to group living, I always want to make sure, hey, let's keep a certain culture in the home. And that's why I do the questionnaires. I want certain types of people. I don't like confrontation. I don't want people that are going to break rules. But people lie as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they're going to put a good face, you know, in front. But as people live with you or, you know, in your house, you get to know what type of person they are, their character.
Now for culture, you touched on important. We have so many things to talk about. This is probably going to be the last thing I ask you. For culture, is there any books that you've written, or how do you do that? Just because, so for example, like with our operation, is me and him, but we're kind of like, I would say like, we're like dogs. Like, we're not gonna quit. Like, I know it. We're not. Even if it gets tough, like, we'll find a way out. But a lot of people don't have that, and I don't think it's necessarily the best way to conduct business forever, right? I don't want to be like just like, oh, like this is a make it or break it thing. Not everyone's like that. So how do you create a culture where it's welcoming to everyone, and I guess it's a positive culture? How do you work that
Within what? Her business?
within a business?
Okay.
I think I worked in the hospitality industry for
Okay.
a while, but me personally, I've always been a people pleaser. I
Okay.
will always usually try to do things for other people.
Okay.
Majority of the time, you know, I think it's just my cultural heritage. Maybe I always seem to try to find what I can do for somebody else.
Okay.
So it's kind of built in me.
Is it in your blood?
I think so.
So you pretty much look for other people that kind of fit that same mentality or the same mindset in a way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so. I would rather have non-confrontational people, and you know, I like straightforward people, but I don't like demanding people.
Okay.
I don't like it at all.
Okay.
It makes it rough.
Surprising.
Yeah.
Somebody came in my head.
Yeah.
The one shall not be named. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, demanding, and that it's going to be their way, and you know, real, I guess, analytical type of people. I guess.
Mhm.
Oh shit, we're analyticals.
Yeah.
We're analytical, but I would say like I'm very open to everything, like to try new things.
That's good.
Yeah, unless you can, I'll get a little bit weird when it comes down to numbers. Like I will get like, hey, like the numbers say this. Like unless you could prove it otherwise with numbers, like sit down, like let's go through it. But I'll go through every single little thing of it just to see if it works out or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done the same thing. You know, with this acquisition, people have said, "Oh, this is kind of crazy." You know, this the way this operator or the owner was running things.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Like, are you sure you want to buy this?
sure? You know, you could back out. But the way I have to look at it I think I look at it in a different way. That okay, this is an opportunity for me to grow and build this from scratch. Whatever system and processes she had or that are non-existent, it doesn't matter.
I was going to ask you that. Yes. How do you just, I mean, you had this idea in your head about doing this.
Yeah.
Some people, I mean, your partner backed out of the deal, but you were still like, no, like this is something.
And I know if I broke it down, people would probably be like, what in the world? But I have to look at it as, okay, I either start from scratch and build it up myself, or I take over this existing business and utilize what I have and fix it. Is it what's going to outweigh the other? You know, starting from scratch does sound good, but she has the tools that I need in order for me to fix, and I'm a fixer. Like I'm not limited to what I can do. You know, I do construction. So I remodeled a whole house by myself for I think it took me 4 months to remodel one of my condos by myself. The only thing I didn't do is the floors, but I epoxied everything.
I know. I was gonna say that.
Knocked down the walls.
For the for the 17 bedroom fast food, you epoxied the
Oh heck yeah!
the kitchen
you
countertops,
won't
right?
even know.
I know.
Oh,
They
yeah.
look so nice.
Yeah, there's one of my condos. I think I remodeled the whole thing under 10 grand. It's on my
Bro, that's like a
on my
tip
Instagram.
right there.
Oh man, and
Oh my
after
God.
so my girlfriend who is my agent, she's been my agent for 20 something years.
Yeah.
She did a whole video, and after she put the video out, I had her clients calling me and saying,
Hey, can you
yes, and I would tell them, hey, I'll help you, but I don't want to be responsible, because once you start taking money, then they start getting nitpicky.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
get
a
you.
whole different ball game. But I'll tell them, hey, this is how you do it, and
You could have started an epoxy business.
I've had people, I've had people that have asked me to do that,
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, bro, it looks nice.
Oh yeah,
That's a solution right there.
I
Boy,
missed it.
my partner, on our big house, he had spent, I think, $4,000 on counters. And they were like, everything he does is gray. So it's gray.
I know what you're talking about. The gray, that gray, like this. Everything is, yeah.
Everything is gray. And I was like, oh my God. I mean, did you notice that in the 17 bedroom, everything was gray?
Yeah, everything was
I
gray.
like, oh, he loves his gray.
Neutral colors.
But so he did it in our big house, and I went over it because I was bringing furniture from another property, and I was thinking, gosh, this just does not match. What am I going to do? I need to bring these colors in and tie it in somehow, because I'm bringing in earth tones and everything
It's
is
gray.
blue gray. So I went through, and last minute I went and I poured counters, and they look amazing.
Yeah.
And then he came in. He says, what are you doing? And I finally showed him, and he came in, and he was like, oh wow. He was like, oh wow. I was like, yeah.
And it's funny because I know Ed. Well, I met him that day, like for a little bit, so I could already imagine what he thinks. Like, these were brand new. He just put epoxy on them. Yeah.
Yeah. Edward's great.
Yeah, I know.
He's such a great guy, I tell you.
I have one more question. I know we're like a little bit over time, but I always ask this question, like, why or how do you think you got to this level? Was it by somebody that raised you this way? Just life experiences? What do you think? How do you think you got to this, to being Ruth Spears right now?
I think, boy, when I was younger, I was probably 17, 18. I'll tell you, I think I was 17. I started working. I think this is where I learned how to hustle.
Yeah.
My first job, I worked for the city as a day counselor for an after-school program. I was probably 17 years old, maybe closer to 18, and my hourly rate was $3 an hour. I think it was $3.10.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend of mine, his name is Jojo Bahia, that it's funny because this guy was known for wearing gold everywhere. And all of his hands were knuckled up like as if he was Mr. T. And he was buffed, and he ran around like a winner, and I knew him from years ago from when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he told me, he was like, Ruth, come and work with me. I work for Kirby Vacuum Cleaners. We go knocking door to door.
I remember those.
And man, so I went and I started working for Kirby, running around in a hot van and door knocking all day. And my mom used to take me to appointments, and she hated it. But my mentality, I remember telling my parents, I was like, I could work for $3 an hour for the city. Or if I just go and hustle my butt, I can make $75 an hour. And this is back in the 80s. I was
Wow.
like, yeah, I was like, I can make $75 an hour if I just hustle,
Yeah.
So I started going, my parents didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And, but my mom stood behind me, and she would take me to my appointments, and she'd sit outside and wait as I'm in these people's house vacuuming their carpet and shampooing and trying to sell this, $2,000 vacuum cleaner.
Like 100 pounds.
Yeah, 100-pound
Yeah.
vacuum cleaner that it was crazy. But I learned a lot. I started because they had morning meetings, and man, you get in there and you'd be pumped up by the time you hit the floor running. It was morning motivational,
Daily huddles.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So we giving credit to JoJo.
Yeah. JoJo
JoJo, wherever you're at.
Yeah, JoJo Bahia. Yeah, I'll send a shout out to him to watch this. But man, that's how he started. That's how I started. I just wanted a certain life. I remember as a kid, I was like, I want to own my own home, and I decided at 21 or 22, I said, I'm going to buy my own home. And I told my mom, I said, you know what? I don't want to go to college. For what? It's a waste of time.
Wow. How was that?
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't. I was kind of rebellious as a teenager.
Yeah.
I just wanted to do my own thing. I just wanted to get out there and make money. And so, I was not a good student. I learned what I needed to learn in order to pass by. And so I said, I don't want to go to college. I want to own my own house. So that's how I started. And I wish so the money that was set aside for me for college that's what I used to buy my first house. And I wish I never would have sold it.
Oh, I bet.
So how many do you own right now? Do you want to share that?
Oh, I sold a couple properties. So I've got three. 4. Well, are you talking about rentals?
Whatever you own. How many houses do you own right now?
3.
Even just 3? Nice.
Yeah, 3. Oh, well, I'm sorry, no, 4.
4. She doesn't even remember.
Yeah, no, and when I got into the space, I was doing all kinds of things. I had a lot of properties on the strip. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The condotels, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so those were easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So back to the question. So where do you think you got that mindset from?
Probably
education, your parents, JoJo.
No.
Because you told me that at 17 you made a decision to swap a job for entrepreneurship. So you had that at 17. So where did that come from? Where do you think it came from?
I don't know.
No?
I think I just had a drive to, prove somebody wrong.
Okay.
I think it was.
Who was that? Yourself?
Probably. I don't know if it was that might sound really bad. My family. I'm Filipino. My family. I was raised that in the Philippines, there's only upper class and lower class.
Yeah.
And I was told, it was kind of stuck in my mind that if I didn't go to college, I wasn't going to be anyone.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of pretend throughout high school that I wanted, that I liked school. And I really didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
And so I think it was that I had to prove to my family, because I think I always got that. And not necessarily my parents. My mom was real supportive.
I was going to say that, but your mom, because I know there's some parents specifically that they're like super hard on their kids, but your mom, she may not have approved of everything that I was doing, but she was supportive.
Yeah, she was supportive. I think it was more pressure from my aunts and my uncles that were, I have pretty successful relatives or cousins. One of them, he's an attorney, so I had an aunt that was really close and she would always say, hey, you need to go to college. She was a principal. She was a school principal. So education was really, really important to my family. Right. And I have another aunt that, her kids are doctors. And so it was a big thing. And, Filipinos, you're nobody unless you're a doctor,
lawyer, like doctor
or nurse. You got to be a nurse. I have a neighbor that comes and he's like, my son's a doctor, my daughter is a nurse, and are you a nurse? No, I do nothing. I just and he's so nosy. Filipinos, I tell you, boy, I love my people, but man,
You want to know everything, right?
Isn't there like several types of Filipinos?
Yeah, my neighbor 2 doors down, he will come around the corner and he'll drive and he'll look and he'll stop in front of my house because I'll have my garage up. I'll have my garages up and they'll be looking like, and then he'll come over. What are you doing? What are you doing to that one over there?
What type of Filipino is Leo? Like he says that.
Ilocano.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, my family's Tagalog, I guess.
Tagalog?
Yeah,
Okay.
Tagalog.
So, and, but no, Bisayan? No. What was
those are all
Bisaya?
dialects.
Yeah.
Some Filipinos don't like other Filipinos. I think the Bisayas, they don't like them. Or something like that. I can't remember.
No
I have
idea.
no clue.
I was raised. I didn't even. My mom didn't even teach us Tagalog. So
Were you raised in the States?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you lived in
I was-
Philippines?
Yeah, I was born in the Philippines.
Okay.
I was born in the Philippines, and then we moved here when I was 6, and then we moved back. We lived in California.
You moved to Vegas?
So no, I moved to the United States when I was 6,
And then?
6 or 7, in California, and
Okay.
then we moved back to the Philippines, and then lived there for I think a year or so, and then came back.
Okay.
Okay.
So my mom lives in Northern California.
Okay. So here's my my conclusion on, because I asked this question a lot. Because you were raised in Ecuador, I was raised in Mexico for a little bit, and I know perfectly what you said. Like there's two classes, basically, lower class, upper class. That's it, right? So I think that because we see it as two options, we choose to tend the better one.
Yeah.
People, family of mine, cousins, or mostly cousins, they've lived here in the States, and there's 3 options. There's
upper,
like lower,
middle, and lower.
middle, or upper.
Yeah.
So what's the easiest one to get to? The middle. So
Yeah.
they do the very bare minimum. I think that because we saw that there's only 2 options and we picked the better option, that we're wired that way.
Yeah.
So far on all the interviews we've done, like that's the common denominator.
I think so because even talking to people, I don't want to say, but the mindset is different.
Mhm.
It's a totally different mindset.
Yeah.
So you have to, I've and age as well. But my kids have, I have 2 children. One is 23, the other is 33. They've watched me hustle,
Yeah.
so they know.
They hustlers too?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
for the
good.
most part. My daughter is pretty good. My son, they're both. I'm very proud of both of them.
Yeah. I want to say too, like, I mean, coming from, I was born and raised in Ecuador, and I got here when I was 14. Lucky enough, my mom was an engineer, so she was able to provide a lot of like good education down there, or whatever. Like a lot of the people I surrounded myself with were people that had money, so I was exposed to that a lot. But I was exposed to both sides of it, So when I got here, like, I mean, 14, I just think it's crazy the amount of opportunities you have in the States to succeed. A lot of those opportunities, you cannot find that in like other places unless you're doing other stuff, So I think that's why like a lot of the drive that we have, or the people that come here from other countries have, is just like, hey, like, it's not that it's super easy because you always have to hustle anyway, but you at least have the opportunity to get ahead.
Yeah, I think. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I
Yeah,
think
you can just say that.
Americans in general, that outlook is different. Because I've heard even, I remember throughout the election, there was a lot of things that were being said that were not really nice towards minorities.
Yeah.
Whether it was, minorities from other countries, but just in the mentality, just criticizing the mentality of families that live together. You know, I've heard Americans or people that have said, hey, you know, oh, they're going to all live together and pack in the house like sardines. You know, okay, my thought process is, well, hey, they're freaking smart as hell because they're going to, you know, save all their money and they're going to send it back to their families in their countries, and they're going to get ahead. And some cultures, I know, they band together. They help each other. You know, Americans don't do that. You know, it's sad to say, you know, for the most part.
Part of the agenda.
But I've seen where families, you know, they don't even know each other, but just because they're culturally related, they are going to help, you know, the next family that comes into the United States, and they're going to help them financially.
And you know what's funny that you mentioned that? One of my mentors, he's Jamaican, and he used to tell me all the time, like, Americans, like the American culture, not just Americans, it's so weird because they want to kick out the person, or like they don't want to kick out their kids like 18, 20, when they should stay with a family, like save up money for their next move, right? And he was mentioning, like, it's funny because they watch someone, and he just made an example of this, like they're Kardashians, they're multimillionaires, but like a lot of them, they used to live together, they used to like be together all the time. So it's like they see examples of it, but they don't apply it to their own lives. And a lot of times, like, there's different groups, like you said, that they band together to invest together and do a lot of stuff together. But you know,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, getting to know people and thought processes and things like that.
And honestly, like, I mean,
smarter.
Yeah.
It's just the weirdest thing. It's like, wow, you know, people here in the United States think, oh man, these people are stupid, you know, but they're actually probably smarter than than we are.
And I mean, to the emotional level, to me at least, now that I'm older, because before I was like, oh my God, we're going to do this again. But now that I'm older, I remember going to Disneyland, and my family's all Hispanic, of course. So like they'll get like two hotel rooms or like a motel, and like freaking like 10 people will be there. But it's funny at that moment, like, oh my God, we're going to do this again and everything. But honestly, nowadays, I'm like, those were some best memories.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Like doing that kind of stuff, like going through it. So it's just like crazy. It's like, I miss it now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When I was a kid, I was raised in a pretty upper class
You're
home.
Rich?
No, not really. But I mean, we were okay.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I wonder where I got the mentality that I have, because I will scrub toilets. You know, I'll get on.
You don't care.
I don't care. You know, I would go. We had in the Philippines, you have maids. It's the normal thing. So, as a kid, I remember going and hanging out with the maids and doing dishes and cleaning. I'd be out. We had a maintenance guy, a landscaper, and I'd be out there, you know,
helping him out,
helping him pull weeds and things like that. I'd be in the park stealing plants. Really bad. I'd come home and, you know, I'd plant a plant and I'd go tell my mom, hey, you like my flowers? Where'd you get that? Had the whole thing. It's like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
But I think that's where I learned too about decorating. I love to do that. I would, you know, my mom would go to the grocery store and I'd rearrange the house, rearrange all the furniture and everything. And she'd come home and everything's moved around. I'm like, yeah, you know, see this magazine, how it looks? I did that. Let's paint the wall and let's knock this down. So yeah, I would sit and look at houses even as a kid.
That's good.
So I always had a goal of I want my own house.
Yeah.
So
yes. So I guess the answer comes from culture then.
probably, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. It's been an hour and 25 minutes. Honestly, this has probably been like our longest one.
It has.
Ruth, thank you so much for your time, for everything you shared with us today. Like, it's been amazing. The time flew, honestly.
I can talk for hours and hours and hours.
We'll do episode 2.
We'll have to do episode 2.
I think we need episode 2.
Do you want to shout out your Instagram?
How do people find, like, if people want to ask you questions or consult with you or hire for your new
epoxy business or
right, I'll teach them.
or the new acquisitions that you're getting, like, how do people find you?
Yeah, so I'm on I just unprivatized my Instagram, so my personal Instagram, it's kind of a mess, you know. But you can find me on Instagram at Ms. Ruth 68. That's MZ Ruth 68. Or if you want to look at my properties, it's under LV Home Share.
LV Home Share.
Yeah, but I will somehow merge them together.
Yeah.
With everything else.
Sounds good.
So yeah, I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to do the captions on Instagram. I'm really basic. So
You just gotta hire someone, Ruth.
I know.
Have them do it.
That's why I just talked to Jay. I'm like, hey, can you help me?
Hey, you do this.
And I still couldn't get it. She showed it to me, and I was like, 2 days later, I was like,
How does it work out?
No, it was here somewhere. Yeah, so I'm
That's
really
so
bad
funny.
at stuff like that. So, but
Ruth,
Again.
so thanks so much for coming.
Thank you for having
taking
me.
your time.
Yeah.
And we'll do episode 2.
All right,
Sounds good.
good.
Thank you, guys.